What is going on, everyone? It is Rob and Jonny back finally with episode 19 of the MMArcade podcast. Rob, how you been, bro? It's been a month, a while?
Mate, we had a hiatus. And funny enough, so I've done a couple things with the UFC last week, obviously with 293 in Sydney. And I've been showing my face around the scene. And it would surprise you how many people come up to me and say, hey, man, love the podcast. When's the next episode?
Where the hell's the next episode?
in the flesh, I'm like, dude, it's Johnny's fault. He's not caring. I'm joking.
I was on holiday and we still got 2 episodes out.
I'm joking. But yeah, no, I've been... what have I been doing? Honestly, I feel like this block. So whilst you were having the time of your life in Europe, I feel like I just really zenned into training and it was rinse and repeat. It's like training, home with the family, training, home until this last week with UFC 293.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you so much for being so patient with us. A few other updates as well. You might notice we're releasing this episode a little bit earlier in the week. We ran a poll on the channel, and a lot of you said we prefer it because episodes are coming out quicker after fights. And when we are predicting fights for the weekend, they're up for longer, so you can watch them for a little bit longer. So there's that. Also, as well, next week, Rob, we've got a big update for you.
Yeah, mate. So to everybody that likes the OG Minecraft, Rob, say farewell. Johnny's going to come over and help me organize some new space age camera. I don't know if it'll be that much better.
It's going to be exactly like mine.
This bad.
pretty much like, so we got the camera, the base lens. The only thing that's different between my setup and Rob's setup will be I got a specific lens, which is really expensive. So if we have a good podcast, maybe we can buy Rob that lens and then it's matching.
That's it. Please hit the subs. Tell your friends about it. Hit those likes. Bobby needs a new lens. But
Rob,
with that, let's get into it.
Dude, there is so much to talk about with UFC 293. Obviously, the big news, the big shocker, Sean Strickland beating Adesanya to get the title. There's a lot of other fights that we could talk about as well. It took place in Sydney. Rob, you were there, right? You were there in the flesh?
No, I wasn't there. So let's start with my little UFC 293 adventure, right?
Go on.
Last week, when the UFC was in full swing and there were UFC meet and greets and events, and I did Fox Sports Fight Week and I did the morning weigh-in show, I got so sick last week. No, actually, I would say a little bit the week before, and what was a viral infection ended up getting fluid in my inner ear. So I was like motion sick the entire week. So thanks to everybody that supported me last week. Came to the meet and greets, put up with me going through that. If I was a little off, that's why. But no, it was a busy week. It was a very busy week. UFC 293 with those headline events, like from the press conference, from the workouts, to the press conference to the fight itself. I think this card was predicted to be a bit of lackluster because of how kind of last minute it was put together. But I think the characters of Sean Strickland and then what is it, Manel Cup?
Yeah.
Coming out of nowhere.
It was so good in the presser.
With a chip on his shoulder, mate, with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, dude. What a character.
Just spicing the press conference up that little bit, like having bites at everyone. He's like telling Izzy to sit down, calling out Kai in the crowd. Like it was, mate, it was unreal. To the biggest upset in probably... one of the biggest upsets in the UFC.
For sure. Izzy was such short odds for that fight, man. It was just no one gave Strickland a chance. And to be fair, kind of rightly so. Everyone was like, Izzy's gonna beat him. So let's talk about the fight, Rob. Just give us your thoughts.
Should we go for the top down, or because there are a few other fights I wouldn't mind touching. All right, let's build into it.
Let's go. Stay, don't skip. All right, this is all going to be interesting.
That's it. Even if you want to go out and make coffee, keep it playing. All right, let's start with Tafa, okay? Because I'm big fan of Justin Tafa. And this fight with Austen Lane, this is a rescheduled fight. They were supposed to they did fight before, but it was ruled a no contest due to an eye poke. Austen Lane eye poked Justin. Now, I said in that first fight, it looked like Austen Lane was just on his skates the whole time, like knowing exactly what Justin has in the tank. He has that knockout power, and it looked like, Justin Tafa reminds me of a lot of Mark Hunt.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, man. And he said Mark Hunt was a huge inspiration to him.
Hell yeah.
So, and you can see that style, that stalker style. But in that first fight, he was stalking Austen Lane down. And then that's what we saw in this second fight again. He's gotten, Justin through his career, he's gotten so good at setting up his power. Like, at first, he was just wanted to throw heavy hands, right? But then as he evolved through the fights, he slowly started setting up his shots, being a little bit more patient and sitting in them a little bit better.
Dude, and so once that overhand left came, sent Austen crashing down, and it was just hammer fist. It was beautiful to watch, and it was nice to see Tafa win in Sydney too. I'll be real.
Yeah, it's always good. To have a local boy, local Brisbane. We'll call him local.
Yeah, we'll claim him. We'll claim him for the time being.
Local enough. But no, it was a good win for him. And on the back of that, we had Ty fighting Alexander Volkov.
Yeah. This one makes me sad.
Yeah, it's upsetting. Like, Volkov's a big man, though, isn't he? He's a big man.
And Ezekiel choke. Like, why are those coming out of nowhere? Just I feel like having a 6'7", 200 something pound Russian dude on mount. Yeah. Like, it's never going to be an easy time trying to get back up. And that's another thing with the heavyweights in general. Like, the ground on when a heavyweight gets another heavyweight down, it is so hard for them to get back up just because of how big they are at that weight level, weight division. But I don't know. I thought Ty was having a lot of success with those low kicks. Yep. I think Ty's leg kicks are underrated because he kicks hard. Look at the legs on him. He kicks hard. And you could see Volkov was starting to have trouble with that lead leg. Mm-hmm. Eventually in the end, Austen was just too technical for him. And I could see the fight eventually leaning that way. As I said, I'm sad, and I don't know what you do now with Ty. Who do you put him up against? I don't know. Mate. It just makes me so sad.
The heavyweight division in the top 10, though, it is so competitive because everyone in that top 10 has the ability to switch you off.
Oh, and for sure.
They're all either huge guys or they have grappling or they're like very niche-y, all of them. They're all good at something. Yep. Volkov's it did look like that. Volkov did have Ty's number that night. He was meeting him when Ty was getting close. I feel like Ty was closing the distance. For such a big guy to move so fast, he was closing the distance well. But then when he closed the distance, I feel that Volkov's defense and pocket fighting was it was good. It was up to task. He was up for the fight in that realm space. And then obviously on the disengage with the extra reach, it was always going to be a hard fight for Ty. Yeah. But it is what it is. That's what happens when you're fighting the best in the world.
Yeah. I hope that whatever fight that he gets next, that he can get up. But as you said, it's such a competitive division. Just look what Cyril Gane just did as well, coming off of his loss. It's so brutal. I just can't see him how he's going to go against a lot of those ranked guys. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so sad for him. Damn it. I don't even know what to say anymore.
But and that leads us into the main event: Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya.
Honestly, dude, if anyone said they saw this coming, are lying. Maybe once Drake bet on Izzy to win, that put the curse on officially. Maybe it was the EA UFC cover curse, because apparently that's a thing as well. But everyone thought Izzy was just going to go right through Strickland, and that is just not what happened whatsoever. Straight from the first round. So, like, talk us through it, Rob. Like, how did you think the fight went? What were your thoughts throughout it?
Okay, let me say, I didn't think Izzy was going to run straight through Sean. Okay, I did not think that. So my breakdown for that fight was that Sean needed to put pressure on Izzy, get him moving back, get his back up against the fence, stay in threat range, in that threat space where he can hit Izzy, but Izzy can't use his legs without taking too much damage. And the question of the day was always, how much damage is he going to take trying to get into that space?
Yeah.
And mate, the answer is not much.
Didn't take long, did it? It didn't take long.
Strickland had an answer for every one of Izzy's techniques. For every one of Izzy's strengths, Strickland had an answer. He was cutting off the cage perfectly. He was in that threat space where Izzy's leg kicks were taken out of concern. Mm-hmm. But he could hit Izzy and Izzy could hit him. But Strickland, his defensive game was on point.
Yeah.
With Izzy throwing those looping shots as what does he do? Like kind of rope-a-dopes on the fence there. Strickland was patient, just always keeping Izzy on the back foot, which was just taking out of his gas. And mate, he just kept it consistent from the start, the very first second of the fight to the 25th. It was honestly a great performance from Strickland. And I see a lot of things popping up saying that Izzy looked off.
Yeah.
I don't think he had an off night. I think he looked off because Sean shut him down. Yeah. Izzy wasn't given any space in the open floor to do any of his tricky kicks. He wasn't given any space to work any of his flinch games with his punches. He wasn't given the chance. Sean was in his face from the first bell ring.
Dude, it's so funny that you said that. So shout out Weasel. I watched his recap of the fight. He said the exact same thing. Like from the moment they both walked in, if anything, Strickland looked nervous and Izzy was in the zone. He was confident. And Izzy actually fought the fight like he's fought every other one of his fights. He didn't actually look off with what he was doing. But Strickland just had a simple game plan. He was incredible defensively. And there was just nothing that Izzy could really do to push him off of that. And yeah, it probably came after the first knockdown in the first round. That probably scared Izzy a lot. Maybe it put him off his game a little bit, but that was because of Sean. It wasn't because Izzy was initially off and then Sean took advantage of that. Sean forced the matter. He was the one that got Izzy on his haunches and just not confident in his ability. So exact same thing that you both have said. I think like Sean had a simple game plan, but he played it really well. And Izzy just struggled to get hits on him because Sean was so good defensively.
And as you said, that shot he landed in the first round just exasperated everything else.
Yeah.
So it boosted Sean's confidence through the roof and it dropped Izzy's like right down. And then, having a game the way Strickland does, which was like be in that threat range, be confident, be aggressive, be forward, you need it. You need that confidence and you need that doubt in your opponent. And it just set the stage for the other 4 rounds, which I feel like Sean won pretty handedly.
So the final score was 49-46. I think Izzy got around maybe 2 in there, but
I would have given him 2 if any.
Yeah, but clearly Sean won that. No controversy.
Because I gave him 2 mainly because he's a champ. Then there was anything like definitive in that round.
Well, can I be real? Like, that's how I was expecting the fight to go. Izzy doing his kicks, keeping his distance, and not doing much, and maybe like he did against Pereira, getting that knockout or the TKO. But I thought that the fight would have gone that way. But I reckon after Sean just whacked him in the first, it just put that all out of whack. And it was funny. Everyone was expecting Sean to like shoot and try and take him down. Didn't do any of that, bro. Not even one attempt. Dude. He just walked him down the whole fight.
And I remember talking to someone and saying the way to beat Izzy is stand up.
Yeah.
I think if you focus too much on the shooting and the takedowns,
yeah,
you're gonna slow down a bit. Like you're not going to have the advantage you need to beat him up. And that's what Sean did. He just boxed him up, dude. Yeah. He got in his space, and I think there are a lot of contributing factors to that. Like I think the way Sean fights, very, very tall.
Yeah,
he boxes very tall. He's actually a pretty big dude. You saw him up against Izzy. He doesn't look that much smaller or shorter than him. So he had the range to be in that threat range where he can hit him and he can hit him. Like that's where you want to be. But Sean's defense was better because you see, this is something. Sean's defense is very tall. So he Philly shells a lot of the shots. He rolls with a lot of the shots.
Yeah.
Izzy's key defense is evasion. He moves away. He moves to the left. He moves to the right. But primarily he leans back. He uses his 6'4" frame to lean back and uses his long arms to check hook or counter jab and yada, yada, yada. Sean was pressuring him, staying in that threat range and cutting off the octagon so well that Izzy had, his back was to the fence.
Yeah.
It would have had been 24 of the 25 minutes in that fight, which means primary means of escape and defense is nullified. That's how we got hit with that shot in the first round, is because he had his back up against the fence and Sean just went straight down the pipe. It's amazing. It was amazing. I thought the game plan from Sean was amazing. Really, really, really. And props to him for that and for taking the mantle of Izzy that way.
So I wanted to ask you, Rob, unless you had any final thoughts on the fight. I saw your tweet after the fight. It was something along the lines of the division now has movement. What does this do? Because there's been so much talk, people playing matchmaker about who Izzy should fight, who Sean next fight should be. Where does Drickus play into this? How do you feel like and what Dana thinks is a completely different story. We can talk about that. Like, how do you feel that it's going to figure out? What's going to happen next?
What a time to be a middleweight right now. To be a top 5 middleweight.
Right?
It is crazy.
It's crazy, dude.
It's musical chairs up here. It's tricky. It's tricky because I think, mate.
Because this is what Dana said. Dana said that the immediate rematch to him makes sense. It does not make sense to me, and I know it doesn't make sense to a lot of other people because he just got the title back. He's not having however many consecutive title defenses like he had before. He shouldn't get an immediate rematch. And let's put it this way: if Izzy got an immediate rematch, so should Aljamain Sterling. It's the exact same argument. Like, they were pretty convincing losses for both of them, but yet one guy gets the immediate rematch and the other guy doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways.
And I think, as you said, just saying, it doesn't make sense to a lot of other people either. It doesn't make sense. Like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to keep... Every time he loses, you want to
just give it back
so he can stay champ.
You know what I mean?
Until he wins it back.
And then the division slowed down again because Izzy has fought so many of the guys in the top 10. It doesn't make sense to me.
And he's just tying up that belt again. It's just because the fights between Pereira and him locked up the division for that 8 months. Forced a lot of guys to fights in that interim, and then. Now, if it happens again, it's going to get locked up again. It doesn't make and again, he lost to Pereira, won to Pereira, then lost to Strickland. He didn't defend the belt this time.
No, he didn't.
And there's no reason for him to have the rematch.
No. And the problem is because Dana doesn't want to. If you read between the lines, he seemingly doesn't want to give the fight to Drickus because Drickus rejected this fight even though he was injured or whatever. So if Drickus doesn't get the rematch, it's probably going to be Izzy in Dana's eyes. But that just doesn't make sense to me because Drickus deserves it. So either, in my eyes, you have Drickus get the fight next, or put Dricus and Izzy together if Dana doesn't want Dricus to get the immediate title fight because he turned this one down. You know what I mean? And at least have Izzy win one or try and win one before getting another shot.
Yeah, it's mate. You can never. Who knows what?
I got feelings on this.
Like, who knows? Who knows what the UFC are going to do? Because it also. I remember we were. I don't know if we actually did speak about it because of how long we had that month hiatus, but I was planning on fighting Sean after, like, trying to get a fight with him after this fight. And now that he's champ, it's gotten a little trickier.
It's true.
Because I'm looking for top 5 opponents, and I was interested in that fight. But again, you don't know what the UFC are going to do.
Does Cannonier interest you, that fight?
A rematch with him?
Yeah. Because he's doing all right at the moment.
Well, he is, but you see, he was the backup fighter for last fight. For the Izzy Strickland fight.
Realize that. Okay.
He made weight. I saw him hop on the scales. So
bloody hell.
Like, I want to fight in the direction of the title. You know, I understand after my last loss that I need to get back into the winning circuit. Like, I want to get back into the winning circuit, right? I've addressed things in the gym, and I'm looking forward to getting back in there and righting some wrongs. But my direction is towards the title.
Okay.
Help me out here, Jonny, all right? Help me out here, and help me out, fans, as well. Okay. You guys can help me out too in the comments below. What's my roadmap look like to the title?
So I want to pull up the rankings now, just so I make sure I'm considering.
We do have
absolutely everyone.
We do have Chimaev and Costa fighting soon.
Yeah, but so can I be real? Chimaev should not be getting near the title anytime soon. Yeah. That's
Chimaev's not ranked, opinion. And Costa's now out of the top 5. I'm pretty sure he's 6.
Sorry, Costa. Yeah, he's 6 at the moment. Yeah. So if we were to go top 5,
in the top 5 at the moment.
Top 5 is it still says Sean Strickland, but obviously he's the champ now. And you got Vettori, Cannonier, Duplessis, Izzy, and then Sean. So if I was to play matchmaker, if things were to go the way that they should. And Dana's thoughts aside, Dricus should fight Sean next. That's 100%. That should be the next fight because when you and him fought, that was meant to be the thing. Whoever wins got the title opportunity. And I don't think he should not get it because he was injured and couldn't turn around in 2 months. So I think that's absolutely the fight to make. That being said, I would actually, if I was going to put you in a position that escalated you to the main event or to the title shot quicker, you'd fight Izzy. That would be my opinion because Izzy, in my eyes, needs to get a win before getting another title shot. And who better than you to fight? Cannonier? Probably not. That would be my suggestion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, a third fight with Izzy.
I know, bro, but who else?
That's not for a title.
Because you agree that Izzy, if he doesn't get the immediate shot, if he gets a win, he probably gets the title shot after that, right? Because he was just the champ. Yeah, usually that's how it goes. So do you not want to be in that opportunity? Usually.
Oh, definitely.
Because
you got to understand, I will fight anyone in the top 5. I'm looking for a top 5 opponent.
Yeah.
And I mentioned top 5 because top 5 is the direction of the title.
Yeah.
That's how you don't get closer to the title beating 8, 9, 10, 12.
No.
I want to fight top 5 guys. I've beaten most of them. There's Izzy, Dricus, and Sean. Sean winning the championship throws a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
You know? I was silently rooting for him, okay? but he screwed my timeline up.
Well, it's funny too because Cannonier has beaten Sean, right? Recently. Yeah. So I would say Cannonier figures in before Marvin. I don't think Marvin Vettori is currently in this conversation. So maybe a fight against Cannonier Rob, will actually get you there too, because he's been the champ and you've beaten him. This is so confusing, bro.
It is God tricky.
Damn.
You know what I hope? If Sean says, I want to fight Rob.
Yes.
Come on, Sean. Yeah. Come on, Sean. Do us a favor, mate. Say, I want to fight Rob. That's what I need to hear to help push things in the right direction.
Yeah. What about this, Rob? What about this as a hypothetical? All right, because I actually still like Dricus and Izzy fighting because of the South African connection or the African connection, all that kind of stuff. They have a beef built up. They were eyeing each other in the ring. If Dana's not giving Dricus the shot next, then have him fight Izzy and then let them sort that out. Let them squash their beef. And then Sean is free to fight the winner of that. You and Cannonier fight. And out of you two, you go fight the winner of Sean versing either Izzy or Dricus. If that made sense.
Oh, mate. UFC matchmaking is a nightmare, isn't it?
I don't envy that job, bro.
It seems tricky as. It's like it's never straightforward. But
no.
I don't know. It keeps things interesting. But all we know really, though, is that things will get interesting in the next couple of months.
They will. So is it still your intention that you want to fight by the end of the year?
No, realistically, there's nobody to fight. I said, my one thing is I want to fight somebody in the top 5.
Yeah.
I want to fight someone in the top 5. So realistically, I don't think anyone's going to want to turn around end of the year. Especially with even Cannonier, who was kind of really the only hypothetical. He just made weight. I remember speaking to him. He said he wanted to have a break after his last fight, but then this opportunity came forward. So,
wait, what kind of break does he want to have? Like the dude's 39. I'm just saying, he's getting there.
Give him a week.
I'm not like when he says a break. Like in my eyes, he needs to.
It usually just means a couple months.
Okay, he needs to strike while the iron is hot. Like he can use the whole "I've beaten the champ" to get him some sort of contention fight. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think whoever Sean calls out is gonna have a lot of weight in the game.
Sure.
Hope he says Rob. But otherwise, honestly, I'm enjoying the training right now. I'm enjoying the block I've got right now. I feel like I'm really covering some ground and tying some things off. It's I'm in a really, really good place, real strong right now. Look at the size of me.
Good on you, man. That's good to hear. Well, all of us are rooting for you, as always. Hopefully you do find out some news sooner rather than later in terms of who you are fighting next. But Rob, that was UFC 293, our recap of some of the main fights. There is a fight night this weekend, but we have such a stacked show wanting to talk about Starfield that we're going to move on to that.
There is one thing I want to just touch on quickly. All right. And that's the interviews, the press conference interviews, the post-fight interviews. Did you hear them?
I didn't hear the post-fight, but I heard the presser before.
Okay. So if people know, they probably know what I'm speaking about. There was some crazy stuff said post-fight.
Tell us about it.
Like, like the post-fight interviews, they're just saying some real slurry, bigotry, bad words.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Things you can't say in 2024.
No.
And I am not one to tell anybody what to do. Okay. But I just want everyone, all the fighters, all the fighters that fight. And I understand you want to be real. Okay. You want to be real. I'm real. We're all real. And you want to be real with your fans, and you want to be you. You don't want to be, a stickler or anything like that. But just remember that we are under the spotlight in front of millions of fans. And of those millions of fans, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, hundreds of millions of fans, there are kids, impressionable kids, watching UFC from ages, through all ages, like real young kids watching.
Yeah.
And I don't know, set a good example.
I agree, bro. I agree. It was I know he apologized later for it, but it was.
That's
all
you got to do. Just it doesn't matter if it's like. I don't want to get into it too much. Just set a good example.
Yeah,
just think a little bit. You can be real without saying that stuff. Okay,
for sure.
But yeah, that's it. That's UFC 293. Crazy upset. Changed history.
And as always, moving on next to the game news. Rob, it's been a lot that's happened over the past month, and it was really hard to kind of isolate it down. But I figure, Starfield's been a big thing. I reckon we can focus on Bethesda a little bit. Let's start off talking about the big news around Elder Scrolls 6. Okay. So Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity, the question as to whether that game is being exclusive to Xbox is kind of up in the air. After the acquisition of ZeniMax by Microsoft, everyone just assumed Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be exclusive. Now we are not too sure. So Phil Spencer was recently in an interview and he responded to a question saying, we look at it on a case-by-case basis with the games that we build. We want to make sure that our games are available in so many different places on our Xbox consoles and PC, also via cloud. These games can come to almost any web-enabled device. So he was very, very coy as to whether they're actually going to make Elder Scrolls 6 an exclusive. Rob, how do you think it should go? Should Elder Scrolls 6 come to PlayStation?
Oh.
What do you do? Because here's the thing, right?
For the people that couldn't see me, I was shrugging and putting my hands up a lot.
For you audio listeners out there.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They obviously acquired ZeniMax to get exclusives, right? But the whole Activision acquisition threw that a lot in the air because they had to kind of make the argument that no, this is not just about exclusives, especially with Activision Blizzard titles. If a title is big enough, we'll give it to everyone because it doesn't make sense to restrict it onto one platform. Is Elder Scrolls big enough to say to them, you know what, it actually makes more financial sense to put it on PlayStation?
It's honestly, at the end of the day, it's up to Microsoft. That's what it means.
It's up to Phil.
Specifically. That's what acquisition means. Yeah. And that's when ZeniMax said, you know what? Deal. That's what that meant, I guess. Whether or not it should, like if we're talking from like a non-financial point, be for PlayStation, like what in a perfect world we'd share everything and everyone be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know honestly what the right answer is, because the Microsoft acquisition of ZeniMax literally means like they're part of the Microsoft company now. Like they're part of that team. That's that flagship. That was a great purchase for them, and it kind of tipped the balance of power a little bit. Remember when I was saying that Microsoft's going to take over the world, dude? It's still like, it's going to happen. It's slowly eating up everybody else, man.
Dude, the amount of titles that they have: Diablo, WoW, Elder Scrolls 6, obviously, eventually Fallout 5, Overwatch. Right. You can still say it's a big game. Like, it's insane. It's actually insane how many titles they have under.
One of these days, you're going to to drive your car, you're going to have to be subscribed to Game Pass. Dude, they're going everywhere with it. They're going big. They're going wide, and they know it. And that's a great. If you can do that, do that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the morality of like, should it be? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Elder Scrolls 6 for everyone.
For sure. I want everyone to be able to experience a game like Elder Scrolls 6, right? And let's be real. Yeah, it sucks when you only have a certain amount of money to purchase one console and you're effectively locked out of playing all this other stuff. Because those are the people that it affects the most. The ones that don't have as much disposable income. Everyone that can buy their PC and PlayStation, whatever, you're fine. But it's those people that I feel for. And it's kind of an unfortunate byproduct of the industry to where we're at the stage that Nintendo, if they want to sell their hardware, they kind of need exclusive software to go onto it. Same with Xbox and same with PlayStation. Yeah. I don't know if it's ever going to get to the stage where they're all like, we're just going to put our titles wherever. Maybe we're like, a day where there's no such thing as a games console, and everything's either streamed or monitors and TVs are big enough and advanced enough to house consoles inside of them, so they can just play whatever game that they want. You know what I mean? And then everything is just an app. You have an Xbox app, a PlayStation app. That's the only way where there's no real thing as exclusivity. But I don't know.
Yeah, but let's not forget that when because this we are talking from the guys who can only afford to purchase one console, and that's what they've done.
Yeah.
When you purchased that one console, you knew what games you were getting and what games you were not. Like, you know, PlayStation boys pick PlayStation for their exclusives.
True.
And Xbox did the same, and nobody picks up a Switch and tries to play like Xbox. You know, you want to Switch for the Nintendo games. You want it for your Pokemons, for your Marios.
Yeah. Zelda. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. You know,
well, let's see what happens. I mean, the game's probably not coming out for like 5 or 6 years, so they got time.
You got a long time to think about it.
Got a long time. It's going to be PlayStation 6 and whatever Xbox at that stage. So
actually,
maybe you'll have.
You know what? You'll have to buy a new console anyway.
You will.
Guaranteed.
You'll have to make the call.
Guaranteed. You have to make another call anyway. So just chill.
Do you want to buy Elder Scrolls 6 or new God of War, new Spider-Man, and whatever other games that they have?
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man's still running flagship. like 10 years later. Like Spider-Man's a good game, but
it is a good game, but PlayStation, I struggle to think of a game they have that competes with Elder Scrolls 6. Like, this is the kind of game that BGS makes. It's going to be a difficult one. But speaking of games that BGS makes, Rob, Starfield, we got to talk about it. We said that we'll talk about it when we return.
Definitely got to talk about it.
So Starfield, biggest Bethesda game launch of all time. Obviously facilitated by Game Pass. When people on Game Pass, I don't need to buy the full game or the game at full price. So they had 6 million, more than 6 million players. In a comparison, Skyrim sold 3.4 million copies. Don't have the number for Fallout 4 here. But on Steam, within 24 hours, Fallout 4 sold 1.2 million. I think Fallout 4 was slightly bigger at launch than Skyrim, but regardless, Starfield smashed both of them because of the Game Pass factor. Rob, huge success. Game has rated, I think it's at 87 now on Metacritic, 88 on OpenCritic. There's been a whole controversy and negativity from other people, but what do you think of Starfield? I'm sure you're playing it, and we can transition into that segment now as well. Go on.
You know what? Yeah, I was going to say this can also be what we're playing.
Yeah.
All right, because this
it's all I've been playing.
That's what I've been playing. Okay. Firstly, 6 million players. The Game Pass has a big influence on that number. Obviously, we don't know how many people are actively playing it. Like, it's free. I'm sure they just press download and then
just to try it out.
Yep. You know? Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I don't know how Game Pass translates into like game sales. I don't know how the comparison for that is. And I'm sure they have hundreds of dudes a billion times smarter than me have worked all that out already, and it's killing it.
Yeah.
But Starfield's awesome, dude. It's awesome. If you it's really sandboxy. I was worried about getting stuck on some rails.
Yeah.
But it's like literally you can just kind of do what you want. Do whatever you want. There's no quests needed to be done, like bar the tutorial in the beginning.
Yeah.
There's no quest to unlock outposts or unlock shipbuilding. Like I hate games that force me to do a certain amount of missions before I have access to the sandbox. You know, and no, you get the sandbox experience out of the gate, and it's good, man. Like literally, because I like building outposts. I like outposts. I like micromanaging, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, as soon as I finished the main mission, I was given my free ship. I just went, instead of going straight, I turned left, and I just started like I just went full Fallout 4, and just started pumping out minerals and resources on one planet. Then I jumped to another, and then I put up another one, and now I've got, and this is all before anything, I've got everything. Like I'm coming into the, what are they called? Constellation. I'm coming into the guild a pimp, dude. Like I am made. I'm set. I don't need Constellation. You guys need me. Like I have all the money. I have all the ships. I've already gotten like I've cut down legions of men with my katana. With my wakizashi. Like, dude, I am a demon. I am notorious in most of known space.
That's
like,
brilliant.
And Constellation's like, you want to go do some legwork? Like, yeah, I guess. Come on, Sarah, let's get out of here.
Dude, you picked such a unique. I say unique. I'm sure a bunch of people have started playing the game like you have, but you've picked the non-standard way to play the game because. So I reviewed Starfield. For those of you that don't know, I played the game for almost 2 weeks before it came out. Released my review, and the game.
Where'd you release your review? Soft play.
On my Lone Ball Wanderer YouTube channel. Thanks, Rob, for the shout out. If any of you want to watch it. So the full review is on there. At that stage, I'd put in 70 hours when I started writing my review and stuff. The game for me really came together when I started actually progressing through the main story. So I would confidently say, at least for the BGS games that I've played, and I've seen other people playing all the BGS games say the same thing, that this is the best main story that BGS has ever done. Fallout 3 is still my favorite game of all time. Starfield craps all over the main story from that game. They've really focused on storytelling, the character dialogue, making interesting people, and just the premise, and I won't spoil it, it spurs you on. You really want to know what happens. And I just got to a stage where I was just smashing out main mission story. And that's not even touching on, dude, how many side quests and how many faction quests this game has. It's actually overwhelming at times. So there's the 4 main faction side quests or the faction quests that will take you hours each to do each of them. And then you have all the side quests in the game. And there's so much good dialogue, more dialogue than Fallout 4 and Skyrim combined. That is undoubtedly my favorite part of the game. And I recommend if you are going to play Starfield, use the quests as a way to direct you through the game. Because otherwise, it can, unless you're like Rob and you like sandboxing, it can get a little bit, you can feel a little bit directionless at times because you're like, should I build an outpost? Should I go in spaceship combat and upgrade my spaceship? There's so many, should I survey a planet? There's those things like that can get you off course a little bit. If you are lost at all, stick to the quest and you'll be fine. Those are my favorite parts of the game.
I'll jump on the back of that because I feel like, and I do believe this is Bethesda's sandboxiest game.
For sure.
Besides Morrowind, I felt Morrowind was that's kind of why Bethesda fans still play Morrowind today, because it's just so sandboxy.
Yeah.
I feel like Starfield is so sandboxy that, as you said, it's getting a lot of guys who are reviewing these games, who are streaming these games, and who are trying these games because of the hype and because of the accessibility of Game Pass, are getting lost. They don't know what's going on, and they're mistaken option paralysis with boredom. Because I've seen a lot of reviews and I've seen some streamers giving it a go, and the things they're complaining about don't even make sense. You shouldn't be trying to min-max Starfield. It's not a game. It's not Diablo 4. You're not trying to rush your build so that you can start farming legendaries. No, you're trying to write a story. Like you need to have a certain level of immersion into it to really to RP it. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's getting the short end of the stick sometimes with these streamer guys because they're just like they're beelining straight through the missions, and the missions aren't meant to be like desperately hard. It's supposed to be a story. You're supposed to be like living in the story. So you mentioned a lot of side missions, right?
Yeah.
So my dude is the file unknown absolute absolute mystery in the galaxy, comes in, goes out, makes some side hustles. Now he's a billionaire. He's got everything going for him. He's been training like a monk on one of the planets for the last 10 years, and now he's got levels. He's strong, and I'm walking past, and they're like, "No, there's been brownouts in the something district."
Well.
And I'm like, I'm like, well, bro, call an electrician. And I just walk on. You know what I mean? Like that. You don't need to do the side mission, and then that breaks my immersion. Like I'm not.
Fair enough.
I could buy this place. I could buy the well. Like I don't need it. I don't need to do that. And you see, that's my enjoyment in that in Starfield, because that's how I play those games. I feel like that's how you're meant to be playing these games. It's about stories.
Mm-hmm. So you and I were talking briefly about this before we got into the podcast. I reviewed Starfield for almost 2 weeks, as I mentioned, and it was a painful process because as a reviewer, you feel like you need to touch on everything. I need to experience outpost building. I need to go survey a planet. I need to build a ship and all this kind of stuff, because to review a game, you need to be able to talk about the major aspects of the game, right? And unfortunately, that's not the way to play the game. It's just not. I started a new playthrough after the review process, and it's so much more enjoyable because I'm just taking my time and doing what I want. And that's not to say to everyone listening, thinking that I'm biased. I am biased, of course. It's not to say that it's perfect. It has its issues for sure. Biggest thing for me, it needs an in-game radio. It probably, could stand to have some vehicles on the planet to make traverse a little bit more fun, because these planets are huge, right? There are other things as well that probably mean that this game, I would say, is not reaching the heights of Fallout or Elder Scrolls. But if you don't take it like that, and you just take it a day at a time, and you let it play out naturally and try and engage with the emergent gameplay that it's going for, I think a lot of BGS players and fans will really like this game. So give it a solid go to anyone that's looking to get into it. Don't draw conclusions after 5 hours or 10 hours. You need to give it a little bit of time, let it stew. And I'm sure there is something in there that you'll like. And if there's not, then it's not the right game for you. And it's not the right game for everyone. Especially with exploration on planets, you might find it sometimes a little bit barren or lonely. And it's not the quite same sense of exploration as Elder Scrolls or Fallout. But it's a different kind of game, and you just kind of need to give it a go and make up your own opinion on it.
And let's be honest, some planets are just shit, dude.
Yeah, no, they are. 100%.
Like you go out there and there's literally just dust. And you're like, mad. Yeah. And then you just fly off. Or
well, that's the thing. Yeah.
You build a copper refinery, so you never have to worry about copper ever again.
Yeah. And that's what they were trying to go for, is like, if you're trying to imitate or replicate space travel, there will be empty planets. Like that's inevitable. And it's this weird balance of how do you balance the realism of space travel to make this game realistic, and then having a fun video game. And the fact is, there is still enough interesting content on the planets and the cities that exist that you never had to go to a random planet if you want, ever in the game. And you just play the game like you would for the most part, any other BGS game. So, you know
what a good direction that always helps me with these, same with Fallout 4, same with things like Skyrim, my own personal goals. And I know every player has their own, but what helps me is my first thing is always just to go build a house somewhere.
Yeah.
And houses cost money. So then I hit up the mission boards. Now I need some cash, Then I go out exploring because I need to find some things. Then I realize that the planet that I like has a crap ton of raiders and crap on it. So then I need to get stronger. And it's like everything is kind of happening organically. I was forced to get money for my house. Then I was forced to get stronger to protect my house. Then my house was kind of a little lonely after I built it. So now I need some friends.
Yeah.
Then I went and got some friends, and the robot dude's not a good friend. He's just a robot. So I had to go find real friends. And and then with the constellation, and this is a part that I really liked, was at the beginning of the constellation, I thought they were like I said, I had come in well established. Like I said, they needed me, not the other way around. And one stick. I almost flipped out because like I hate being put on rails. Okay.
Yeah.
But then they said, what you do outside of Constellation is your own business. Just don't bring it to the door.
That was such a good line.
Yeah. I was like, I can dig that. Because it seems like we're all just a collective of explorers that come here. It's almost like a gentleman's club, but not with just gentlemen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like and I was like, I can dig that. I don't have time right now, but I'll be back.
Dude, that's the funny thing, because it's almost as if they corrected, if you call it a wrong or whatever, they almost corrected that from Fallout 4. Because if you remember Fallout 4's main story, you had to pick a faction. And that was it. There was no being able to experience all the faction quest lines to the fullest extent. But with Starfield, they have that in-game law that's like, you go do what you want. So if you want to join the UC, if you want to join the Freestar Collective, if you want to become a raider with the Crimson Fleet, or join Ryujin, you can do all of those in one playthrough. And that is the beauty of Starfield. Like, some people might like to just stick with one, but then you're locking yourself out of content. That's the one thing that I really do like about Starfield, is that you can pretty much do all quests and all faction quests in one playthrough and enjoy the game for what it is. I actually prefer that over Fallout 4. That makes you go down a particular path. Even New Vegas. I love New Vegas, but at some point you got to choose. And I know people like choice, but I actually prefer being able to have a tasting platter of all the different factions.
There's only one choice in New Vegas, and that's the robot.
Go independent? Yeah, Mr. House.
Yeah. That's the army of rocket launching robots. It's the only one. But I do have my gripes as well with Starfield. But I am like, if we look at like Skyrim when it first launched, or Fallout 4 when it first launched, they've been making additions to the games up until like this year, and then and then after they stopped adding things to the game, they opened it up to modders, and then the modders started adding things, and then they had the workshop so that it was like verified mods that, and you know how like Bethesda has its own mod store for its games.
Yeah. Well, it
People
used
are like,
to.
oh, it's used to like.
Yeah.
I like that because they worked. They worked.
You knew they worked.
Yeah, you knew they worked.
Yeah.
It was fine. But it's
we
early
haven't even
days.
talked about mods yet.
Oh, mate, Starfield's just launched, and I have my gripes too. Okay, it's not like Starfield isn't the perfect game that's that has been dropped into my lap. It's a very good game, and I'm going to sink a silly amount of hours into it. And it's the game that you'll be jumping back into 10 years from now, because that's just the sort of sandbox game that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my gripes too. Okay, I don't like guns really. Okay,
yeah, fair.
And punching things just isn't viable. Like,
it's not.
It's you cannot like. What level am I now? I'm level 76.
Yeah.
And I can't punch them dead enough. Like, dude, they got so much health. Much health. And there's no fist weapons. And that's gripe one. And melee weapons. Okay.
Yeah.
Melee in general feels a little clunky. And I'm sure they're gonna tune that up a little bit. They have to.
Oh, they're gonna make changes to this game. Like I didn't even see if there was a day one patch, but there will for sure be fine tuning.
Definitely,
there are things that they need to address. I'll give you another example of a gripe. I think leveling gets too slow after about 35-40. It really slows down. So you're kind of just like barely able to get you through your skills. So it's very important that you choose correctly at the beginning. I will also say as well. So I touched on exploration before. Yeah, I'm personally, I'm not a fan of just like picking a random planet and seeing if I find something interesting there, because 9 times out of 10, you probably won't find something interesting. And I feel like that's time lost that I could have spent playing a quest or whatever. So whereas in Fallout and Elder Scrolls, you couldn't walk 2 meters without finding something interesting because it was just the one map. With Starfield, there's 1,000 planets. So you have to kind of pick a planet and hope there's something interesting there. That's the one part of the game that I still can't vibe with. I'm fine with it because there's so many quest lines that will dictate where I should go, and there will be interesting stuff on the planets that the quests take me to, because that's what the content is. But that other side of exploration, that I don't vibe with that as much. So I think there probably is a right way to play Starfield, and you kind of have to try and approach it in that sense. Don't try and approach it in a way where the game's not meant to be played. I know maybe the game needs a little bit more onboarding to get people to that stage, but there is absolutely a wrong way to play the game, and just going from random planet to random planet hoping that you find something is not the right way. And some people might be disappointed by that because you did that in Skyrim and you did that in Fallout 4. That's just not what Starfield is, unfortunately.
Starfield is much bigger, much
it's
bigger.
Huge, dude. There's more. When Bethesda says there's more dialogue than Fallout 4 and Skyrim combined, there is. You've got to find it, and the way you find it is by doing the quest lines. You know,
it's a huge game. I'm looking forward to all the melee updates though. I want more melee weapons. I want the melee tuned up. I want to be able to punch things dead more.
I agree, bro.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. That's all I've been playing lately, and big recommendation from me.
There's something else that I've been playing, but if we're releasing the podcast tonight, I can't talk about it. So I'll talk about it next week on the next week's podcast. Okay. I'm very excited for it.
It's good though. We got content.
For sure. Are you watching anything? Have you had the chance to watch anything?
Right. I got to say, this season of anime, there aren't that many good ones. I am watching the second season of, what's it called?
Jujutsu Kaisen?
Nah, they started the second season with a 3-episode flashback. I will not watch that anime out of freaking principle. How dare you? Hold on. They did it because everyone in the comments is going to listen. Everyone's going to listen. Everyone in the comments is going to agree with me. It is bullshit. How dare you do that to me?
Hold on.
I've got 3 episodes in and we're still in a flashback. I'm done. I'm not watching it. I like the first season. Okay. But it's starting to get a bit, I'm getting vibes like Bleach vibes before it took off, or Black Clover vibes where it gets much more popularity than they think it does, and then they start dragging things out. And no.
To be fair on them, it's because of the movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and those 3 episodes gave a lot of context to that. So that's kind of why they did it, but I know what you mean. And then after the flashback bit, there's this like random slice of life episode where he's trying to get a girlfriend or whatever. And then I was like, well, that's stupid. But I did enjoy the flashbacks for what they were because of the movie.
Well,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there.
And also, like, I'm the sort of, I don't care about any episode, any character except the main one.
Fair enough.
And his love interest, who doesn't have one, but like, that's all I care about. That's all I want to see. You know, the Demon King fella. Well, that's it. I don't care about anybody else. But I have been watching Mushoku Tensei.
Mushoku Tensei is the first time I've heard of that.
Jobless Reincarnation. I'm watching the second season of that. Yeah, really good. Really good. It's like, how do I explain it? It's got like some lighthearted scenes. Like where the dude's just like a little horny thing. And he's kind of acting stupid because of it. Like, it's weird. It's weird. Because, like, the dude gets reincarnated as a baby, but in his mind, he's a 30-year-old man. And his mum is like this hot, busty woman. So breastfeeding for him is pretty fun, right?
It's so weird. Anime sometimes, bro. You freak out.
Weird. But then it goes from that to like real serious dark topics that make you feel like it actually resonates in the character, and you see growth across the anime. And I love anime that, you know, can really express that growth and what the torment, how that has impacted him, and how events during the anime affect him later down the track. So there's a lot of anime out there where something traumatic as shit will happen, and then 2 episodes down the track, he's the same dude. Dude, like that's not how life works. Like you don't you don't just brush it off. And if you do, I want to see that he's just brushing it off, but he's starting to fray. And
so look, wait, that second part sounded all good, but this is a gripe that I have with all anime. Just get rid of the weird shit. Can I be real?
Whoa!
No,
You stop. No, you
Certain
stop
stuff,
right there.
Rob. All right.
No, you.
Can I
you
give
don't
you an
have
example?
A vote at the table yet?
Hold on. I'm going to give you an example of the one thing that needs to go away is whenever a character has a sister complex. It's weird. It's never funny. It's weird. They did it in Black Clover. They tried to do it in Mashal as well. No, I don't care about it. I want interesting storytelling and do some crazy antics, but stop getting weird. So that thing that you just described to me, Rob, it's weird, bro. I think it's weird, and anime creators need to grow up a little bit.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Sorry, Johnny. All anime fans out there said no. Okay?
Rob, come on. You know what I mean. They just said no. They just said, no, we love the weird. Keep it in, okay? Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. But, mate, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, all right? Sure, you can have your weird anime. That's the thing that I'm saying. And some little weird moments. But when they're like constant story themes, like, no, stop it.
But it's like mining for diamond. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot of coal. You're going to get a lot of coal.
I'm paying for the Anyway, some people might disagree with me. All I'm saying is tone it down.
Mad.
Pretty good.
We don't need to tone it down. We don't
just a little bit.
Fine the way it is.
Oh man.
Okay.
Man.
And the weird ones give us something to talk about anyway.
Sure they do. If you want to know what I've been watching, I did finish Psycho Pass. Season 1 anyway, started season 2. It got strange. I think it jumped the shark a little bit. But I really like Psycho Pass season 1. Season 2
I feel like anime either finishes great or lives long enough to become like crap.
Crap, for sure. And no one from what I saw liked season 2.
Tokyo Ghoul was like that. You ever seen Tokyo Ghoul, dude?
Nah.
That's like it. Watch season 1. It's good. It gets you wanting more, and then season 2 will make you want it less.
Do you know what I ended up finishing actually, Rob? Vinland Saga season 2. It is amazing.
Oh, Vinland.
It is like
is it?
Vinland. Yeah, it is actually incredible, and I would rewatch that entire anime again.
It started annoying me season 1.
I know, but he matures and he changes. I'm telling you right now, he's not just screaming the whole time.
All right, I am struggling for things to watch, so I might put that on a list somewhere.
Please do stick it out because it's actually amazing.
Zom 100 is really good too at the moment. They're the two I'm watching week to week. Is
nice
Mushoku Tensei and Zom 100.
Yeah, I need to find something else to move on to.
I've reading. I've just finished the next book in a book called Carl's Doomsday. Something. I think that's it. Carl's Doomsday. Type that in Amazon Kindle and it'll come up. Carl's Doomsday. It is so good. The premise is so good. And again, it touches on those things where you see a character develop and you see him go through some crap and you see the edges starting to fray. And it is so hard to translate that into writing over any reasonable amount of time without being blatantly obvious about it, without him just having a meltdown, like the lead up. Like I just finished maybe book 6. Okay. Book 6 in where he's up to, and the meltdown's coming and you've been seeing it since book 1. Like it's coming and he just keeps on pushing it down, but it's coming, dude. And I don't know, it's a good book. Look it up. I highly recommend it. It's up there with one of my favorites. Like I am looking out for drop dates with it.
Nice.
But that's me.
That is what we've been watching, playing / reading. And finally, we come to the viewer questions. If you do have a viewer question, as always, let us know in the comments. We try to get to as many of them as possible. Today, Rob, we're starting off with, by the way, for the people that create funny usernames, so I say the last time I said Huge Assel, which is Huge Arsehole, that was brilliant. Keep doing that because I think it's actually hilarious. Username Lurk7411 asks, what were some of your first jobs that you guys worked? Any funny stories or memories?
I'll let you start with that because I haven't had too many.
Yeah, I used to work at Donut King. I think that was my very, very first proper job. And it was pretty cool because at the end of every shift, we got a bunch of donuts. And you think, oh, yeah, I'm going to eat donuts all the time. After the first 2 or 3 shifts, you get tired of it. And then you might just have your one little cinnamon scroll after work. But yeah, Donut King was actually a pretty cool job.
My first job, to no surprise, was I was a Hapkido instructor.
Oh, yeah, nice.
It's a no surprise. Yeah. And I used to teach some kids. And I got softly let go because apparently one of the kids came up and said that I threatened him. And I want to say I didn't, but I can't say that 100%. So yeah, that was.
What did you do, Rob?
I don't know, mate. They were brats, but.
Oh well. Next up, we have TJ Productions asking, because TJ saw the Avatar Airbender shirt that I wore last time. Mm-hmm. What Avatar element would you bend if you could? You can't be the Avatar. You can't do all 4. What one would it be,
mate? Right? I used to like the Avatar much more before Israel Adesanya ruined it for me.
He got it much more.
He did. He ruined it for me. He ruined a bunch of cool anime, but I'll go first. There's a book called The Furies of Calderon. Okay, I remember it because of how good it is. That's one of my top 10 books of all time. It is like the Avatar series, but for adults. It is so cool. Highly recommend it. If I could pick an element, it would probably be Earth.
Why is it? Is it the most strong in your eyes? Defensively good?
Oh, there's heaps of it, and if you get real good, you can bend metal.
True. What would I do?
Pretty OP.
Yeah, I'm torn because I know firebending can get so good that you can control lightning, but only a couple can do that. I like water bending, but I would have to say air. The reason why I say air is because in my mind, air can control all the other elements if it's strong enough. So if someone shoots fire at you, you could control the fire using a wind gust or whatever. That's what I think. It'd probably do really badly against Earth. This is like Pokemon rock, paper, scissors here. So I would say air though.
I don't like it. I don't like that matchup in an Earth fight.
No. But against fire, I think air blows out fire and then water puts out fire. So I reckon fire's not got a lot going for it in this little match.
But let's de-animify it and just realism it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like if you could bend lightning, dude, like lightning moves at the speed of light.
Yeah, but how often is there lightning, Rob? That's the problem. So
now can't they call it?
Can they?
They don't have to wait for a storm. I'm pretty sure they can do this.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
And they can make
Once
it happen.
Once she starts controlling it. Yeah.
The only thing that's going to help you in that situation is being earthed. Being earthed, mate. Being earthed. Take it from me, electrician.
Next question we got is a Muskie MMA asking, serious question, the most serious question we've ever received.
Bro, I kid you not. I sat there for a good 10 minutes because you sent this. He sent the run-up hours before we actually do it now, and I just had a brief glance, but then I saw that question, and I sat there and thought about it, man.
All right. So Rob's going to answer first. How many seagulls could each of you beat barehanded before they eventually overwhelmed you? Go on, Rob.
I think I could just keep fighting forever until
really.
Yeah, until probably dehydration got me. But even then, it'd probably be old age. It'd probably be old age, to be honest, because this is how it would happen. Okay, they'd all go for me. All right, let's assume I can wear glasses, all right, and they can't attack my eyes. They attack my eyes, it's cheating.
Sure.
Because what seagull's going to have the know-how to go for the eyes? Okay, that's a seagull.
Fair enough.
I'd do heaps of seagulls. You know what I mean? Just one shot, one taps, and I'd kill enough to make an igloo of seagull bodies, just covered in bodies. I know I'd have the fortitude and stamina to be able to do that many, and I'd be in a burrow of seagull bodies, and then they all can't swarm anymore, and I can just pop out, bah, and then dig back in, and then pop out, bah, and then I'm fighting forever. Like food, I'll just burrow in, eat a bird. Drink, burrow in, drink a bird.
Drink that blood. What are you going to do?
Drink a bird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good for a good long time. And honestly, like, let's say I don't get any funny diseases from eating the birds, then years.
Rob, you've got to sleep at some stage, man. That's when they get you. That's my answer. As soon as you sleep,
how are they gonna dig into my seagull burrow? Do you know how big it would be before I need to sleep? Massive.
They'll find a way. Have you seen how aggressive seagulls can be? You're eating your sandwich by the beach or your chippies, and they just come take it. I reckon they get pretty brutal.
You're not eating the sandwich underground. You know what I mean? Or in a mountain of seagull bodies. Like, dude, I reckon years. That's my answer. What about you, mate?
I would die of dehydration or exhaustion. Like that, whenever that happens, the seagulls would eat me. I don't think the burrow or your igloo is going to be thick enough to keep them out. They will eventually get to you once you get knocked out.
It would be. Mate. You get an igloo 3 bodies deep, three seagull bodies deep. They're not getting in, mate. Come on, they got no fingers. They got no opposable thumbs. Get out of here.
Next question is from SM Fuller 888. Rob, if you could fight in any fictional setting or arena, where would you choose?
Fictional setting. Oh man, I don't even know what that means. Like, just to fight like real life.
Fictional.
Like, no,
Rob, you read novels and you don't know what fictional means. Is it fact or fiction?
I meant like I'm fighting what MMA. Like I am who I am now.
Yeah, and you get to choose one location.
Oh man, the hyperbaric time chamber.
I was gonna say the same thing. Oh, you took my answer. Hyperbolic time chamber is the correct answer.
It's the only answer. Like,
yeah, because you get so strong. You get so strong, and when you exit, you are Super Saiyan 4. You know what I mean?
And no time have passed. Oh, but hold on a second. Hold on.
Well, for you, I
think you still. Yeah, I think you still age in the hyperbaric time chamber.
You do.
So I don't need 40 years in there to come out tomorrow as freaking 80, dude. Like, I don't need that. I'm not fighting at my best at that point.
It's like a year or 4 years. I don't know,
but even that's too much. I take back my thing. I don't want to fight in there anymore.
No, it makes you stronger, and that's the point. You come out 5 minutes later or whatever, and you're incredibly strong.
Yeah, but
you could beat anyone.
Older though.
You're older. Not that much older. You're like a year or something. I'm going to search it up. I need to know. Bolic time.
Even a year's a lot, dude, in the game.
Sure, but if you have a year of training, you know what I mean? In 5 minutes, that's pretty good. So I'm literally searching.
I don't know if a year of training is worth a year of lifetime, but
so here it is. It is 1 year inside the chamber is equivalent to a day on the outside. So you pop out a day after with a year's worth of training, a year's worth of fighting someone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it right now.
Okay.
Not where I'm at anyway. I think if you were a younger fighter, maybe.
Fair enough.
But I don't know.
Maybe that's what Cannonier is doing. He needs a break to fight in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Dude. And he's actually 50.
Final question is Owen Giles. Have you boys tried Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
Yes. Yes, I have.
How much of it did you play? Because it came out when I was on holiday, and by the time I came back, I had Starfield. So I've just not had the opportunity to touch it. I know it's Game of the Year and everything, so...
Yeah. I'm not going to go into it this week, okay? Because we've it's already an hour 14 in. But I've got 100 hours into it.
Whoa,
Like,
nice.
mm,
All right. Well, how about next week? If you haven't played anything else, yeah. If you haven't played anything else next week, you can talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that's us, mate.
That is
episode 19.
That is the last question. Episode 19. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching or listening until this point. Let us know if you appreciate getting the episodes earlier as well. I feel like this is a nice time. It's been a nice Monday evening starting early and recording.
It has. It's actually feeling all right. It feels pretty good. Like I'm pretty happy with this. Thank you everybody for your patience in our hiatus as well. Don't forget to sub, tell your friends about it, shout it from the rooftops, please.
Absolutely. And we will see you next week for episode 20. Take care.